The desert on Virex 7 was unlike any terrain Mason Thorne had trained for in the Corps. Red sand hissed in the wind like a snake whispering ancient threats, and the heat baked everything: gear, skin, patience. The outpost was temporary, more of a field camp than a true installation. It wasn't supposed to last more than a week, just long enough to survey the nearby ruins for Xenotech. Nothing dangerous, nothing alive. At least, that's what they'd been told. Mason sat in his tent, stripped to his undershirt, sweat beading down his spine. The canvas flapped lightly in the wind. He checked his weapon for the third time. Nothing else to do. The ruins had yielded nothing but collapsed columns and cryptic etchings, and the only excitement had been Jenkins falling into a hole and spraining his ankle. Then the perimeter alarm chimed. Once, then again, then a third time. Mason stood, instantly alert. It wasn't a drill, they didn't have drills. The screen on his portable scanner lit up. Movement outside the eastern barrier. Just one life form. Heat signature unusual, cooler than expected. He stepped out of the tent and into the setting twin suns, squinting as dust whipped past. Other soldiers gathered, weapons at the ready. Sergeant Cole barked orders, but Mason ignored the chatter. Something was moving, stumbling toward them. Not a beast, a girl. She looked humanoid mostly. Lithe build, long silver hair tangled and wild. Her skin shimmered a faint lavender under the sunlight, and her eyes were large, shimmering, and slightly luminous, like pools of starlight. Her clothes, or what remained of them, were torn, patterned with tribal stitching, and stained with dried blood and sand. She collapsed just before reaching the outer sensor pikes. The command tent buzzed into action. Medics rushed in, but none could determine her species or condition. She was breathing but barely. Unconscious. Alien. Definitely not one of the local fauna. Mason lingered, arms crossed, watching her from the doorway. "She's staying in quarantine," Sergeant Cole said later, jabbing a finger at Mason. "Nobody goes near her unless I authorize it." But that night, a storm rolled in, short, sudden, violent. Sand filled every crack in the base, and one of the comm towers blew out. Power fluctuated. Tents collapsed. Screams echoed across the camp. In the chaos, Mason ran to secure the medical tent, only to find it had already half collapsed, the girl gone. He found her crouched near his own tent, shivering, covered in sand. Her large eyes stared up at him, imploring. He hesitated. Then he stepped aside and let her in. The tent smelled like sweat, gun oil, and desert, but it was dry. The girl curled into the corner without speaking. Mason gave her a canteen. She sniffed it, then drank greedily. Her breathing slowed. Her shoulders relaxed. "I'm not gonna hurt you," Mason said. "You understand me." She blinked once, slowly, then nodded. He knelt beside her, inspecting the crusted wound on her leg. "That's infected. You need real treatment." "Danger," she whispered. Her voice was soft, melodic, but filled with panic. "No med, no wires. They track. They kill." His spine stiffened. "Who's they?" But she didn't answer. She just looked toward the ruins, eyes narrowing. The next few days changed everything. Mason smuggled her food, water, medical supplies. Somehow, she knew how to use the dermal spray and pain inhibitors, guiding his hands with trembling fingers. Each night she stayed in his tent. Each morning she vanished before dawn. And he kept quiet. God help him, he kept quiet. He learned her name was Sira. She wasn't from Virex 7. She'd been brought here, part of some off-world tribal group enslaved by a corporation Mason had never heard of. Her people had escaped into the ruins centuries ago, using old alien tech to survive underground. But something had gone wrong. Dark machines woke up, she said one night. Killers. Not drones. Not alive. But they smell minds. Yours, mine. You mean the ruins are active? Mason whispered. She nodded. You are not safe. None of you. Then came the disappearances. Private Jennings. Gone during his midnight shift. No trace. Next day, a pair of engineers vanished on the southern ridge. Sergeant Cole doubled patrols, suspecting a local predator or deserters. Mason knew better. Sarah did too. They're testing, she said one night, curled against the wall. Testing your minds. Your thoughts. How do you know? Because they once tested mine. She unwrapped a bandage on her forearm. Beneath it was not just skin but a pattern. Like circuitry etched into flesh, faintly glowing. Alien tech embedded beneath her skin. They marked me. I escaped. Mason sat in silence, staring. And now they come, she added. For me. And you. That night Mason didn't sleep. The next morning Mason woke to find Sarah gone, and his tent slashed open. Tracks led away toward the ruins. The command tent was in chaos again. Another soldier missing. Mason grabbed his gear and ran without permission. The ruins loomed ahead, jagged stone monoliths jutting from the sand like broken teeth. The air shimmered with static energy. Sarah's tracks were fresh. He followed them down a slope, through a collapsed tunnel, and into darkness. He found her inside, surrounded by silver-black obelisks humming with quiet menace. Strange symbols pulsed along the walls. At the center stood a structure like an altar. Alien, ancient, terrifying. Sarah was there, standing between Mason and something else. Something massive. It was a construct, humanoid in shape but twice Mason's height. It floated above the ground, arms ending in spirals of energy. Its face was a single vertical slit of red light, locked onto Sarah. You shouldn't have come, she said, her voice filled with dread. I came for you. The construct moved. Yes. Mason raised his rifle and fired. The bullets dissolved mid-air. The thing swiped, sending a shockwave that hurled him back. He hit the stone hard, ears ringing. Then Sarah screamed, and something exploded from her chest. Not blood, not flesh. Like, she glowed. Her skin flared with the same circuitry as before, brighter now. The construct paused, analyzing. Mason groaned, trying to stand. What are you? He whispered. I was a child when they caught us, Sarah said. They implanted tech in us, hoping to make hybrids. I was the only one who survived. The only one who escaped. You're the key, Mason realized. You activate them. Or stop them. She looked back at him, a single tear glowing down her cheek. But I must connect, she said. One last time. No, Sarah, wait. But she had already stepped forward. The construct reacted, tendrils of energy lashing toward her. She grabbed them and screamed. The walls lit up. Symbols pulsed faster. Mason staggered to her, shielding his eyes from the blinding light. Sarah's body lifted into the air, spinning slowly, her veins glowing like stardust. The construct trembled, then shattered into fragments. Silence. Sarah collapsed into Mason's arms, her skin cold, dimming. You stopped it, he whispered. She coughed weakly. I stopped one. But more sleeping. Her fingers tightened around his shirt. Help me. Help my people. They returned to the outpost as the suns rose, the sky painted in shades of fire and gold. Mason carried her, exhausted but alive. The camp was on alert, Sergeant Cole furious, medics demanding answers. Mason gave none. He requested a transfer. Back to the ruins. Under the guise of security detail. The truth. He wasn't leaving her.